Normally on Nightmare Arcade, we take a moment to spotlight an indie title, break down what I liked, what I didn't like, and if the game's worth your time to pick up. Today we're doing something just a little different though. This is the very first Nightmare Arcade lightning round, where we're going to rapid fire 3 demos that I checked out this week, give them a quick little gaming autopsy, and just see what weird, wonderful, or downright cursed content indie horror has cooked up for us. Not too long ago, I streamed my full playthrough of Tormented Souls. I had a blast with it. Genuinely creepy, clever puzzles, surprisingly rich story. But as I played, people kept rolling into chat saying stuff like, "Oh, you're playing the Gooner Resident Evil." I didn't think Tormented Souls was that bad. Sure, Caroline's skirt bounces around a bit, and yeah, the game opens with some blatant nudity. But the focus was on the bizarre body horror and the weird timed warped narrative, not the boobs. Then my homie Pirate Monkey sent me a couple of game demos, one of which was full-on Resident Evil cosplay with a wardrobe mechanic, and I couldn't help but dive just a little bit deeper. I asked him for more, and now we got ourselves a little Gooner horror showcase. This is the one that kicked off all of it. And honestly, it surprised me. Visually, it looks pretty solid for a small indie project. The character models are sharp, especially considering the obvious dress-up mechanic. You collect clothing throughout the game and customize the main character. No full nudity here, but it's clear that the looks are part of the appeal. I tried to keep it classy. Tried. I definitely didn't succeed, especially when we get to the last game on this video. It gets so much worse. This was mild. Gameplay wise, gunplay is smooth enough for a demo. Enemies react properly, and while I wanted more narrative exploration, the bones are there. The game is in early access and already up for like $30, and yeah, I'll probably buy it once I make a dent in the old backlog. It's refreshing to see a dev team unapologetically make a hot female protagonist without making her annoying. It feels really rare these days.
"现在这里的信号非常弱，希望有人可以听到这个语音消息。我是朱棣，在危机发生后，我独自来到约克姆市调查情况。寻找事件背后的线索和传说中的解药。现在这里就像地狱一样，到处是携带病毒的变异者，他们攻击性很强，非常危险。从我收集到的信息看，我想这件事情并非如同通报中所说那么简单。我一定要找出真相。可是这里好可怕，我担心我一个人无法完成这个艰巨的任务。你能帮帮我吗？我们一起去寻找化解危机的解药。
Alright, now for a first in Nightmare Arcade. This game shocked me too. Just not in a good way. It still has that small indie team energy, and I'll give credit where it's due. The damage reactive clothing system is a interesting touch, and the character model is fairly well done, but that's where the compliments end. Cutscenes? How about static images? Like, full stop.
我係學生會會長譚景南，聽日係學校嘅萬聖節活動。各班會同學生會都預備咗各式各樣嘅佈置同遊戲。
Which just kills any immersion or narrative weight. I get it, budgets are tight and animation can be quite difficult, but this setup made me instantly stop caring about the game. Speaking of the story, we got a zombie outbreak in a school, which is cool on paper. But then the main character just magically finds a gun and is somehow the top marksman in the school. And it's just too much of a stretch for me, even for a zombie game. Controls are another issue. These are clunky as hell. Landing headshots feels like a battle in itself and not in the fun kind. This should be a game first, goon later situation, but it feels the opposite. It's a solid B for the goon content, I guess. But as a game, it gets an F. I even lost the footage the first time I played and had to replay it. I still didn't finish the demo. That says a lot. If you're more forgiving than I am, give it a shot, but this is the first Nightmare Arcade entry where I have zero plans to continue.
呢度到底發生咗咩事啊？
Oh boy, this game is something else. Right out of the gate, it tells you, yes, you can toggle the clothing off. And yes, full nudity is an option. For science, I had to check. And sweet Jeebus, it's impressively rendered. Like, too well rendered. These devs are S-tier gooners, no doubt about it. If you're curious, hit up the Steam discussion page at your own risk. The game starts with the protagonist wrapped in a towel, and it gives me instant Haunting Ground vibes. Turns out she's been in some sort of stasis for 4 years while the world fell apart around her. Everyone's gone, including her mom, who was working on a cure for something. That part is a bit fuzzy, but the vibe, solid. One thing I appreciated, the game acknowledges that zombies are part of modern culture. Characters aren't clueless, they know what zombies are and act according. Wish more media did that. The demo leans heavily into puzzles and environmental exploration with less focus on combat. The puzzles could use more intuitive design, but they weren't terrible, I guess. It's mostly just searching around. The combat, however, is a bit rough, clunky, sluggish, and I could see it being very frustrating. But that does fit the character. It reminded me of Silent Hill, where you're just an average person trying to survive, not some action hero. I swear I didn't just like this game because of the boobs. There is potential here. Something interesting is buried in this game and not just what's underneath the clothing. For the first Nightmare Arcade lightning round, I wanted this one to be fun, weird, and maybe just a little unhinged. And I think we got it there. All three games brought something to the table, even if it was just a good laugh, or a reminder of what not to do when making a game. If you dug this format, let me know! I might do more lightning rounds between bigger deep dives. Speaking of which, I am working on my EGA video. To be honest, it's been kicking my ass. Plus, it really does not help me anytime I do anything with Symphony of the Night. I'm constantly getting hit with copyright problems with YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, this whole thing has been kind of a headache, but we're still working on it. Anyways, until next time, stay scared, stay curious.